All right, my friends, this week on Prof and Dev Play Games, we are poorly predicting reveals at the Game Awards. Stay tuned. All right, my friends, welcome to episode 457 of Prof and Dev Play Games. My name is Larry, at Prof Plays Games on Blue Sky. Over there is Anthony the Dev at Summerspeak on Blue Sky. Do you want to tell us how you're doing?
I'm okay. I'm
Okay.
doing fine.
Good.
Generally feeling okay, but past one thing and into jury duty because that's fun. Fun times.
Doing your civic duty, man.
Actually, yeah, fully doing my civic duty. I have lived in King County for 20 years. This is the first time I'd ever been summoned.
First time you've ever been summoned?
Yep.
You don't mean like, wow, really?
Yeah, I've never received this is the first time I've ever received a jury summons from Washington State.
That's
King
interesting.
County.
I've been summoned like 6 or 7 times.
And the only other previous time I've been summoned from anywhere was from California when I was in college. And of course, that didn't happen because I was not in the state when I got summoned. But yeah, being in Washington, I have never been summoned before this.
That's really interesting. I would not have guessed that.
And then, of course, that's probably why I'm on a jury now.
Yeah, probably.
So I am really, it's not that way. Like, they definitely, the lawyers get their choices, judge gets choices to reject people from the pool, but 20 years without even a summons, I'm like, yeah, all right. I don't love doing this, but I'll do my civic duty, and maybe I won't get picked again for a long time.
Yeah, isn't it something like at least here? I thought it was like 2 years. You serve and then you're off for 2 years or whatever.
I think it's similar here.
Yeah, okay.
Like if I got summoned in the next 2 years, I could just say, "Hey, I was on this case," and I wouldn't get even summoned to the pool for selection. So, yeah. But yeah, no, that's a thing. That's a real thing to do.
Well,
I think also my pool was 3 of the people in my pool that I know that they had gotten rejected they were students and they have finals this next week.
Oh yeah. So
and
like,
the judge was like, "We're not going to make you be here for that."
Yeah.
So
we're gonna make him be here.
Even me being biased as hell, that might be one of the reasons I'm there, because they're like, we're down 3 that we may have chosen.
Yeah, sure. Yep. Well, thanks for doing your duty, but thanks for being here. We were off last week because you were sick. Hope y'all enjoyed the RPG Backlog episode, and we're here this week to talk about the Game Awards, which is on Thursday, this coming Thursday. We're going to try to prognosticate, and usually we're terrible at this, so that's okay. We're going to try to figure out what we think the reveals are going to be, and I kind of think there's going to be some decent ones. But what about you in general?
We can start with some safe ones that I feel like are almost certain to be there. A new GTA 6 trailer.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, last year they did their own thing, right? But this year,
I think they'll have something here. Yeah. I feel like there's going to be a Death Stranding 2 trailer because Kojima always does stuff here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Some sort of big blowout with Kojima.
Yeah, and I think last year was when they did the trailer for Death Stranding 2. I could be wrong.
Well, they did like the Fizzent thing or whatever, where the Jonathan Peele stuff.
Jordan Peele.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. And so at one point in the past year, there's been the announcement of Death Stranding 2. So Keighley and Kojima are buddies, so I feel like we're going to get something there. Get that one out of the way. Randy Pitchford leaked that Borderlands 4 trailer is going to be here.
Okay. Wow.
Probably to the anger of his entire marketing team. Because he wasn't supposed to say anything.
Right.
But he tweeted that. Or it's just him being his businessman self and making up that they're upset that he posted it, and this was all part of the posting plan.
Exactly. Right. Getting
either way,
some eyeballs.
There'll be a Borderlands 4 trailer.
I feel like 3 just came out, but I guess this is announcing it's not coming out next year. Well, no, it is coming out next year. It's 2025.
When was 3? Was during the pandemic?
It was,
No, 2019.
Oh Jesus!
Pre-pandemic.
Okay, I remember playing it during the pandemic. I guess is what I.
Yeah, it came out 2019, so it's like 5
about
years
right.
old.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. It's the right cycle.
I'm trying to think of other just kind of low hanging fruit that we're gonna see. Probably Monster Hunter Wilds trailer in there.
Yeah. Yes, Assassin's Creed Shadows. Anything that's coming out in February.
Yeah.
It's going to get some sort of nod, I think.
But for new things though, like completely unknown new.
Oh, before we get to unknown, Silksong, anything? What do you think?
No, come on.
I just love torturing myself.
Clowns.
Yep, exactly.
Should be a giant clown. You'll be like, yep. Guess what?
Oh
no.
fuck.
Not unknowns, but will there be any? Will Nintendo do anything with Switch 2 here?
I think the most that we would see is a Metroid Prime 4 more of it.
Oh, you're correct.
Probably. That's the most known thing, I think, for Switch 2. I mean, it's not even slated for Switch 2 at this point, but we know it is.
I think you're right. Actually, Metroid Prime 4 is probably likely. If there's going to be a Nintendo thing, it's going to be that, and
that's how I feel too.
Probably nothing else,
unless they do a backwards-looking thing, like here are all an advertisement for all the games we have on the Game Awards tonight: Mario Party and Zelda.
Yeah. So yeah. What else is? Oh, do you think BioWare would do Mass Effect 4? 5 or whatever the hell they're going to call it.
I don't, but only because yeah, we're so close to Dragon Age, and if they're really far away from Mass Effect 5, I don't see it. I think they did the reveal of Mass Effect 5 like fucking 4 or 5 years ago.
2022.
Jesus Christ, that felt like 5 years ago. Okay, 2022. So
yeah, it's been 2 years since they teased it. Like
yeah, there's something due. Yeah, I think. Right. What about by Ken Levine's new game?
Judas, definitely. Judas. Yeah, I could see that because it was announced originally at Game Awards. I'm pretty sure.
And they had that blowout earlier this year.
Yeah,
people went and saw it for like 6 hours or whatever.
Yeah, I could see a new trailer showing up.
Yeah,
from that, Judas. Still a good name for a game, we'll say.
It is. I'm really.
It's a very evocative name when you're like. There's a lot of connotations to that.
Mm-hmm. I am interested in that for sure, and I've only played one BioShock, and that was Infinite, but the previews were really engaging for me. So
yeah, yeah, no, that's a good chance because it was originally announced on the Game Awards of 2022. Take-Two Interactive has actually now stated they expect it by. I don't believe this. Probably in an investor's call, they said this. They expected the release of Judas by March 2025. I don't buy that.
I wonder how many years ago they said that.
Yeah. I would think it's probably at earliest a fall 2025, if not spring 2026.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, yeah, I agree. I think that could be there. If that Take-Two would probably put something like that up there.
Yeah, and that'd be a good night for them. GTA 6 plus Judas.
Yeah.
I think Balatro is going to have another DLC drop.
Jeez. Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, other
Friends.
Indie games in a partnership.
Friends of Balatro.
That's right.
Part 3.
Yep, exactly. I mean, they're going to have a big net. They're nominated for Game of the Year, man. They should go all out.
It's true. It's totally true.
Put Keeley on a Joker card. Ha! Oh my god. I said that out loud. That's a fucking great idea. Make a Keeley Joker. That'd be great.
Oh, geez. A game. No. They probably will.
That's fucking hilarious. I hope they do.
I know another one that leaked. I saw Haze Light's next game.
Oh,
it's going to be previewed.
That's such a fucking locked in. Ferris. Of course, Joseph Ferris is going to be there.
Yeah. Whatever the hell was called. That leaked earlier in the week that his next game was going to be. There's going to be a preview for it. Mm-hmm. But all right. So that's been like a smorgasbord. I'm trying to think through my head here of what does Microsoft show?
Oh man, definitely
Avowed.
Yeah. Avowed, South of Midnight. There might be like a montage. Of a couple of things. I mean, it's depending on how long this fucking show is going to be.
I think Avowed probably gets a full thing. honestly. The previews sounded really positive for it, so that it come out.
You know what would be? Yeah, definitely, absolutely. I've seen. I was positively surprised actually that they were so positive. It was great. I think if South of Midnight is here, they're going to give it a release date. Which would be nice.
Yeah, there's that. Does Microsoft have any unannounced things that they're going to premiere?
Definitely, there's going to be at least one unannounced thing.
What is it?
Let's think. Let's pull up Microsoft Studios. Who's working
on Obsidian's doing Avowed, as was just said. Bethesda, I don't know if they're definitely not ready for Elder Scrolls 6 stuff.
Well, there's another Starfield DLC, yeah.
Probably
so maybe
that.
Shattered Space came out in September, I think. So it could be another one of those. It could be you know what it could be? I'm gonna get the name wrong. Morrowind or Oblivion remastered. One of those two.
Yeah,
I think there was a leak, or not a leak, a rumor about I think Oblivion remaster. So
actually, you're right. That's a good one.
You know what I really want to see? And
what do you want?
I feel like the timing is maybe right. CD Projekt Red said they've been working on the Witcher 1 remaster for quite a while. Or had parceled it out to somebody to do. I wonder if we'll see, first of all, anything from CD Projekt Red, because Witcher 4 just hit full. I think they said full production, or the most production it's been in, which is maybe two different things there. But I don't know. News on Witcher something. I would kind of like it to be Witcher 1. I think that'll come up before Witcher 4. So
yeah, that makes sense. What else did Microsoft? Perfect Dark. That's right.
Oh, yeah. There was that back and forth about like it had been rebooted, and then people were like,
it definitely had been rebooted by somebody, because it was originally being worked on by the Initiative, and that got pulled.
Oh, is it not with the Initiative and Crystal Dynamics anymore?
I'm reading now. No, it is after the Initiative partnered with Crystal Dynamics. It was also reported that the Coalition has been supporting them as well.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
I guess I get the Initiative and the Coalition confused.
Yes. So yes. It sounds like it was pretty ridiculously mismanaged, but
yeah.
I don't know. That could be there. People, they want it to be, I'm sure. But
yeah, for sure. What would be okay? Let's go with Square Enix for a second.
Okay,
are they going to have anything?
They're definitely not having Part 3 of FF7.
No, I don't think so either. Yeah, no.
They don't have another FF. There's no more FF16 anything.
Nope.
There's not an FF14 expansion time, and it's still about a year out before they'd announce that.
Do you think 17's in any form of development? It probably is, but
it's not to be shown. No, not in a way that they wouldn't show another one. I would expect the first time we see 17 is at minimum another year, if not 2.
Okay.
They're not fast on those.
Then do you know what would be cool? Final Fantasy VI HD 2D.
That's true. You can get that.
Or Chrono Trigger.
The Final Fantasy 9 remake that has been rumored forever.
Oh, is that part of the NVIDIA leak thing?
Yes.
Oh, then that's got to be it. That if there's a Square thing, that would be it.
Yeah. Which is less than like the Final Fantasy VII remake style, but more than the HD versions of Final Fantasy 9 that are on Switch and PlayStation right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's been rumored for a long time. FF Tactics remaster has been rumored for a long time. That was in the NVIDIA leak years ago.
Yep.
I think a lot of the stuff out of Square is going to be, and Square Enix is going to be smaller and side stuff to Final Fantasy for like the main stuff for a little bit.
Yep. Oh, you know what they could announce though? Now I don't know what the exclusivity deal is, but like Final Fantasy remake to Xbox, or Final Fantasy VII Rebirth to PC.
Mm-hmm. Rebirth to PC is possible.
Yeah.
That should be coming along. It won't be any kind of DLC or expansion for Rebirth. They've said that they're not doing a intergrade type thing for it.
Yep.
So we're not going to get that. I think that's right. If Square does anything, it might just be a couple of these smaller things like that.
Yep. That makes the most sense. Anything from Atlas? That green P6 kind of thing they were teasing a while ago?
I mean, maybe. It feels a little bit close to do P6 right now.
Yeah.
And so weirdly, a lot of that stuff gets announced. In the past, they've done it at their own, like, they call them P-Sound concerts. Where it's just a big concert where they play all their music from a bunch of the Persona games. And usually at the end, they have, like, the one more thing, and they announce something. That's where, like, Royal got announced. I think Persona 3 Reload kind of got announced in one of them. I'd be curious when they do Persona 6 where they'd actually put it. I don't think the Game Awards, though. That doesn't feel right to me.
Okay.
I feel like honestly, I feel like it would be in a Microsoft or a Sony press thing.
Yeah.
But I think it's just too soon still with Metaphor having just come out.
And being up for Game of the Year.
I think they're holding a little bit. Let's see. I don't even know what EA would have anymore right now.
It'd probably be some sports thing, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, they have all their sports stuff to do. Like I said, if anything, Mass Effect would be the next, like, non-sports thing that they might talk about. I don't think they have a Battlefield that they want to show. Maybe if Veilguard has some DLC.
They said I remember they said they weren't going to have DLC.
Okay. Then nope.
It was a one and done kind of thing.
All right. So it's probably pretty quiet out of EA. We were at Microsoft, but Activision Blizzard, anything?
Good question. Diablo 4 came out. Maybe they'll have something from Overwatch just to kind of eat into Marvel Rivals, but
oh jeez, yeah.
Good luck. We'll talk about Rivals later, I'm sure. At least from my point of view. Good God. Anything StarCraft? Any of those StarCraft remasters? Those already. Wait, am I making that up? Did that happen already? No, that was Warcraft, wasn't it?
They did Warcraft.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking of.
They have not messed with StarCraft.
I wonder if they will.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's another WoW expansion not too long from now. Potentially.
Well, what just came out?
Did that just come out this year?
It came out. It came out a couple months ago.
They just said the next 3 are one story.
Oh, okay. It's like a trilogy.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Because people were getting tired of their story, and they're like, "Okay, we're gonna make it so that these 3 tell, like, a really neat trilogy." But I don't think you'll get anything Call of Duty-esque. Maybe if nothing major. But yeah, I don't think StarCraft. I don't think Diablo. Anything Diablo right now?
No, definitely
not. Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty quiet on that front for a while. Okay, Ubisoft, other than being bought by anybody, we mentioned AC Shadows, right?
Yeah. I think we'll see something from AC Shadows because they want to have a marketing beat. It's coming out in 2 months or so. And then there'll be a little thing at the end that says, please buy us.
Yeah. Someone.
But let the Gimos have control. Fuck that.
Yeah, no.
Wow. Squandered IPs, man.
Yeah. Trying to think. Do they have anything else that they would be doing right now?
It's Far Cry's turn.
It should be. There should be some new Far Cry. They canceled one of the Far Cries that they were working on. Which one was it? It was a single player. It was like a single player co-op, like, extraction game. That looked actually it looked pretty neat. I'll be honest. But it got canceled.
Yeah.
I don't remember when that was. That was sometime during the pandemic. They're like, nah, getting rid of that one. So,
Trying to think of
I
other
don't think. Yeah,
Helldivers. So they have some sort of. They'll probably have some sort of. Here's a
yeah,
new pack that you can buy.
yeah. They'll have an update on new stuff coming there. I mean, Sony overall. Will Sony have anything
Oh, yeah,
huge?
that's an interesting point because we should be swinging back towards Sony having stuff coming out. So I wonder if they will put any
Wolverine?
flag down. Ooh, Wolverine. You know what? That leak that happened a long time ago, or not a long time ago, I guess, but Venom was up next, and I'm not sure. We haven't heard anything about that. Maybe there's not going to be a Venom, but then it was Wolverine after that. So maybe that's good.
Yeah. I mean, they've already teased Wolverine
Yes.
years ago.
Yep.
So, and Venom was going to be more of a, was it similar to how Miles Morales was like a
That's right.
standalone
Exactly. Yeah.
thing? So,
That's what the leak
yeah,
said.
I mean, definitely think for sure Venom will be shown, but I wouldn't be surprised if they want to remind people about Wolverine, especially with Deadpool and Wolverine being so successful this year.
Yes. Right. Man, I started watching that. That fucking intro is so good. You've seen that, right?
Watch it. No, I haven't seen Deadpool and
Oh
Wolverine.
God, Anthony, you haven't seen it.
Nope.
I haven't finished it. I've only watched the first probably half an hour, and I fell asleep and whatever. But the intro is you are going to fucking love it.
I'm sure.
Oh my God. So
What else would Sony have coming right now?
something about Concord. No, just kidding.
No. Rest in peace.
Rip Concord.
Yeah.
Concord devs are looking at all this Marvel Rivals hype and are just like,
Yeah.
10 million people in 72 hours. Fuck. We should have gone
Yeah.
free to play.
Maybe.
I don't know if that would have saved it, by the way, but
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
the Marvel IP does a lot of lifting.
yeah, it does a lot of heavy lifting. What else was Sony working on right now that we even know about? Naughty Dog's working on something.
Yeah.
They've been working on something for a while.
Well, wasn't it last year where Neil Druckmann was out there with Keeley? Or was that Summer Games Fest last year? About, the Last of Us multiplayer thing that ended up getting canceled.
Yeah, I don't know. What else? Like, so Naughty Dog probably has something definitely has something cooking right now.
Yep.
Oh, there could actually be a trailer for the Last of Us TV show, season 2.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's coming up in February again.
I think so.
Yep.
I think it's. I definitely am like, yeah, that seems like the crossover they would do there. What else does Sony have? Sony Santa Monica just had God of War Ragnarok, really. I don't think they will have something new to show there. Gorilla probably doesn't have anything to show yet.
No, I wouldn't think so.
It's going to be a trailer for the PS4, PS5 Pro. Why not?
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. I'm not surprised, I guess, but man, like I have zero interest in that.
Nope. Not for that price. And I've already seen holiday deals that have it $50 off.
Oh wow, that was fast.
Yeah. Yep. Because guess what?
Yeah.
Not a lot of people are buying it.
Well, yeah, not a lot of people are buying it, and for I don't know, not much of an upgrade, perhaps, unless you care about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth blurriness, which I actually never fucking noticed. So I that's why I know it's not for me because I didn't notice about that shit. But also waiting, man. I waited 2 years for PSVR 2, right price, which I'll talk about that later too. So good stuff there.
Sony Bend is working on something.
That's true. They've been working on something for a while. Yeah.
Yep. Gorilla is doing something. Be a while. Housemarque. Anything?
Oh yeah, nothing since Returnal.
Yeah.
I know Sony wants to do their own blowout, so hey, fuck. Astrobot DLC.
Oh, sure.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Holy shit. They absolutely will. And that will be the best thing of the night for me.
A new do you think they do a Ghost of Yote trailer?
They,
Another one? Or are they gonna just hold?
why not? Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
We'll take that money.
Yeah. In a lot of ways, I feel like that's mostly like I think Sony's going to be stuff we've mostly heard of. It'll be stuff we've heard about or the Last of Us TV show, and like you said, anything that's brand new, they'll hold for their own events.
Yep.
That makes sense. Yeah, and then there's going to be some indies mixed in. I have no clue. Those are just going to be wild cards.
Yeah, things that we're not even thinking of,
Yeah.
and stuff, stuff that are ads that are for things that we don't care about that we can't quite tell they're ads, but they definitely are. Yada yada.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's a good amount. I think we will not see anything about Switch 2 at all because they want to do their own thing. It would be fucking cool though if they did like a Nintendo logo and then like 3 seconds of a silhouette and then January 2025.
Yeah.
Learn more or whatever.
More.
That'd be fucking hype. So.
Yeah. We can hope, wish, but Nintendo
it's
probably
unlikely.
will just
No.
not do. They're just gonna do their own thing.
Yep. Nintendo doesn't play with Keeley that much.
No, not really. Nintendo doesn't play with anyone that much.
That's true. They don't need to either, so it's all good. All good. But the rumors, if we pivot a little bit to news, the rumors are that there's supposed to be a January Nintendo Switch blowout. I don't know if I don't know anything credible on it, but it's been enough people saying it that seems maybe possible. I got my money saved. I'm ready. So
yeah, I'm here. I'll do it. Yep.
I'm severely ratcheting down my gaming budget for 2025, especially as I'm going to be applying for that doctorate if I get in. That's where my money's going to be going. So, but I've got my money saved for the Switch. So
that's a good place to put some money.
Yeah, excited about that. What have you been playing, my friend?
Let's see. I mean, the most absolute recent thing, Path of Exile 2. I feel like I am just beating my head against this thing.
Oh, in terms of not feeling it?
I mean, I'm playing it more, and I feel like okay, from the start, I feel, and I still hold this, I think it feels bland overall for an action RPG. I'm kind of surprised because I wouldn't call Path of Exile bland.
Right.
But I've been trying to figure out, like, why does this feel, to me, why does it feel bland? It's really slow overall, which is they're purposely like slowing down the game in a lot of ways of like how fast you move, how fast your attacks are. They want it to be more slow and methodical. People have been talking about it Souls-like esque, and I'm like, kind of, but not. I think even that kind of misses the mark on what they're doing here. So there's that. And just like moving through the world kind of feels a little bit like plotting in a lot of ways, and maps are way bigger than Path of Exile 1, so it's just like, Jesus, how long does this go? But I mentioned in Discord, one of the things that's really I'm noticing is just how stingy with loot they are in this game.
Well, that's
and
not
I'm just
fun
like,
for this game.
No, it really isn't. And it's stingy with loot, and when you get loot, like a lot of these games, 80% of the loot, 90% of the loot just doesn't even matter to you. You don't care. Yeah. You're just going to sell it. So if it's raw stingy, then it's very stingy, and you're still only seeing very rarely loot that you actually care about. Which I think the mechanic, what they want people to be doing is getting their currency drops and crafting their items, which is a term from Path of Exile 1, where you could take like a base, your white common version of an item, and then use different items to basically roll it into a magic item or a rare item with prefixes and affixes and reroll. And so I think what you're supposed to be doing is like using that to make your gear for the most part. but there's nothing explicitly telling you to do that. I'm just starting to get the feeling that, like, oh, that's what they want me to do. Most of my upgrades have actually come from me just buying stuff from the shop, like the vendors in town, because they just have much better items than I've found. So I that part kind of bugs me, because that's coming into this type again. That's just what I want loot to drop. That's
the dopamine hit.
Exactly, and I'm not getting that dopamine that much. And then the combat, going back to, it's slower and everything. There's a lot more boss fights. A lot. Like each map, like zone you go through on a map, pretty much has one boss fight somewhere in it, optional or necessary. And my feeling is, this is where probably the Souls comparison comes to. There's a lot of bosses that's just like, you have a dodge in the game now, a dodge roll. If you get hit, you die.
Wait.
So you better execute your skill and dodging perfectly. Because if you don't, there are just bosses do have moves that will insta-kill you.
Even if you're not dodging? Like if you get hit once by a boss, you're dead?
Yes. Yeah. Some of them.
Jeez. Okay.
I'm just like, but the thing is, and then they feel very health spongy. So like, the fights just take forever. They feel like Souls bosses are difficult. They have patterns you need to watch for. But generally, I don't feel like the fights go on that long. At least any of my time, like my real focus time with a Souls game is Elden Ring. And for the most part, those bosses didn't feel, they didn't overstay their welcome to me for the most part. Some did, but very rarely. I feel like every boss in Path of Exile 2 to me has overstayed its welcome. I'm like, I wanted to be done with this about a minute ago.
And it's not because it's like doing cool new stuff. It's just taking too long to do its stuff.
Yeah, just like, yep. It's an interesting choice. Like, this game is not at all have the feel of the original Path of Exile in a lot of ways. It's its own thing, which they said it was going to be. I am just curious how much staying power this has in the end. Because I look at like their forums, boy, do people not like this game on their forums.
Oh, wow. Okay. They missed the mark with a lot of people then.
Yeah, and those are the people that are like, that are invested in Path of Exile, and those are the people I just seek. That's the first place I went, was just there. I'm like, what are in their Path of Exile 2 feedback forum, what are people posting there? And it's mostly just negative. Like, and it's a lot of the same stuff that I just mentioned. Like, I don't care that it's difficult. I just don't think it's tuned. The difficulty is tuned correctly. So, I enjoy it well enough. I never get the sense, like, when I'm doing a boss and I die to a boss, that I'm, like, excited to try that boss again. Where
you're just like, I'm glad I'm done with that shit.
Kinda, like, or if I die to it, I'm just like, a lot of times in, like, Elden Ring, I was like, I died to a boss and I'm just, okay, I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna do this. I'll finish a boss and die to a boss towards the end of, this is the end of Act 1 boss, toward the end of it, and I was like, nah, I think I'm just done right now. Yeah. I'll come back later and try it again. I'm just like, I did not have the drive that I'm like, oh, I just want to keep repeating this over and over. I'm like, no, I understand what I have to do now. Like, I got the fight. It's just, yep, I misdodged, and so I died. Cool. Awesome.
That sucks.
Yeah, so I don't know what this game becomes. I think the Steam reviews are where I kind of expect them. I think they're sitting at very positive, 82. It's been sitting around 80. Path of Exile 2, 82%.
I mean, yeah.
Which is probably, it's a little higher than I would give it, but in range with a lot of the feedback I'm seeing overall. Weirdly, I'm playing it. The controls that I found optimal to play it with are WASD movement, not click movement. So there's two movement modes in it. There's the normal click where you want to go, action RPG movement, Diablo movement, or there's a switch where you move around with WASD and your character faces where your mouse cursor is to fire their ability. So it's like twin stick shooterish.
Yeah, sure.
And I find that far better. The mouse clicking one felt very imprecise and made the game even harder.
That is weird for a Diablo like.
Yes.
Although, I like playing Diablo with the gamepad, but
Yeah. Definitely choices being made on this. And personally for myself, I don't think they're the best choices, but right. This is early access. I'm sure they'll take this feedback and work with it.
Yeah, it's kind of the goal, right? Even though it's kind of weird for this one, early access for free-to-play game where your hardcore fans are paying for early access, and it's like let's say, the inferior version to what will be ready for a 1.0 free-to-play launch.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same as Path of Exile 1 was. Although Path of Exile 1 their beta was completely free. I remember playing that back in the day.
Right.
And being like, wow, I like this game, but I also hate this game. And it got much better over time. But the one thing is the purchasing into the early access. You have to buy a supporter pack to do it, but it actually gives you supporter pack, the currency that you can use in Path of Exile or Path of Exile 2, equivalent to the amount to buy in. Mm-hmm. So I have 300 of their in-game currency to spend on whatever the hell I want to spend on. So I actually am like, cool, I have to buy in, but at least you're not just paying for the early access.
You're getting the currency you would have spent more on later.
Yes, you're getting the currency, you're getting some cosmetics. It's how they've always done their supporter packs. So, yeah, so I played, I don't know, probably I played yesterday and some today. About 10 hours overall. I went through 3 different classes until I found one that I'm like, I kind of feeling okay with this, which I did the monk first. Melee feels terrible in the game, I'll say that. After the next class, I go to the mercenary, which uses crossbows. That was better.
Yeah, I was thinking like melee for like some classes wouldn't use melee at all. So like a barbarian kind of melee.
Yeah, the monk was my type of melee, and having played that through Act 1, at least to the end, close to the end of Act 1, and it being pretty painful. The mercenary the class uses crossbows. That was better, but it has very, very like slow reloading, and it just kind of, that one, I think the skills themselves just felt bland on the mercenary, the way the cross bolts work. And then I was like, fine, sorceress, go in with Matt. Got to Act 2 with the sorceress. That was fine. That felt way better. I'm just doing a lightning sorceress in Path of Exile, so I'm just doing lots of lightning bolts and everything to boost my lightning damage, and if I get hit, I die, but if I don't, I do so much more damage than those other classes I just said did. So it kind of feels better to me.
How's the performance?
Fine. I'm getting I have mine capped at 72 frames per second, which is half my monitor's refresh. I have a 144 monitor. And it sticks 72 FPS. I haven't seen a drop. So, like, graphics, performance, audio, great. Nailed it. Gameplay just needs to be tuned. If this was 1.0, I'd be like, nah, this isn't good enough.
They will get there, though, I'm sure.
Yes. The sad thing is they've been working on this game a long time.
Yeah. So you think they would have gotten there a little bit already?
Yes. I worry that they're tuning a lot of this based on streamers and how streamers play Path of Exile and the difficulty that streamers want to play at.
Oh, no. Yeah. That makes sense.
And not the difficulty and loot drops and experience that most other people want.
Right.
So they've shown as a company a tendency to do that over the years. So I'm wondering if that's similar to what this is. Yeah, tuning to your loudest people as opposed to tuning to what's best for the entire audience.
Yeah, sure.
But we will see. I'm curious to see when they do their first like major update and what changes. But I think I also mentioned there, I'm like, they wanted this game to be more new user friendly than Path of Exile, and I say absolutely not.
They fucking failed, because that's what I was looking for, to be honest.
I mean, there is quality of life improvements for sure throughout. But this is not I'm like, okay, you're going to throw a new person at this, and I feel like they're going to hit the first couple bosses and just get steamrolled constantly because they don't know how to. There's so much complexity in the skill tree, the passive skill tree, and how your skill gems and how the supports you put on them to like tune your skills. Again, how I was saying, how you get the right loot, other than if you don't really know how to use the crafting system, which they don't explain. I just inherently understand it from Path of Exile 1.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to do that, you're just going to probably just grind for hours trying to just get some form of drop so you can get further.
Which, like you said, isn't going to come very often. Yeah.
No. So I don't know. Like right now, as it stands, I'm like, this doesn't. This is in no way to me more newbie friendly than Path of Exile is. The only way it's newbie friendly is that there isn't as much content as Path of Exile 1 has at this point. But actual like teaching and understanding systems and onboarding players to like how to play this game, absolutely not.
Yeah.
You're going to make terrible choices and brick your characters.
That's what happened in
for a
1.
long time.
People needed guides for that stuff.
Yeah, there's just no guides for 2 right now, because no one has a clue what to do.
Course. Yeah, sure. Yikes.
But there's clearly optimal, and there's viable and non-viable builds already, for sure. I can tell that. Now playing, having shifted through the classes, I'm like, yeah. Like, I think there are just some classes that are going to be almost non-viable. Or they're going to have very, very narrow builds that you're like, if you want to play this class, you have to play this. Or you just can't beat the content right now.
It sounds like the monk, the melee stuff is.
I don't even know. Yeah. The monk definitely. There's another melee character that is really tanky, and that one seems to be okay. Yeah. But I've only seen one build out of it be super successful, and it's like tank with totems. So you're distracting enemies with totems.
Right. Sure.
I don't know though. I don't hate it. Like I said, I think it's still a 7 out of 10 for me overall.
And it's got lots of time to get higher.
It needs to cook. It needs to cook for longer, and they need to take all this feedback and data that they're getting and keep retuning it.
Do you think it was a situation where they're like, we need to make some money right now so we can keep going? Or
they're making tons of money on Path of Exile 1. Okay. I think it's mostly they just don't want to keep it locked away anymore.
Sure. Because they want to actually get this feedback then.
Yeah. That's my hope. What else have I played? I played a bunch of Vampire Survivors.
Oh, nice. I heard the Castlevania stuff is really fucking
good. I have not even got to that yet.
Oh, shit.
Because I was like, I'm not buying new expansions until I get my my achievements. I'm at 216 of 220.
Oh my god, man.
That game is enormous.
It's crazy. It's crazy how much there is in that game that was so, what, $3 originally? And of course, each DLC is built onto that, but god, they did it right.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even know. I put in another chunk of time. I crossed the 100-hour mark at 106 hours in the game.
Wow.
That's really without the Castlevania. I've heard the Castlevania stuff is really cool.
I've heard it's so good, man.
But I'm like, where have I...
You're missing 4 achievements here.
Yeah, got to work through it. I don't have the Emergency Meeting DLC.
Oh, that's the Among
Us. I don't have the Contra DLC, and I don't have the Castlevania DLC. So I have to get those, and then I have to finish these other achievements, and then I can work my way through the next DLCs. But I've heard the Castlevania one just adds so much. Like,
and mm-hmm.
an enormous amount of content.
And I heard that like some of it's like it's really good, but some of it, like the end game stuff, is a little obtuse. Like how someone was saying, like, how did anyone figure this out with a fucking guide? So
Yeah. Yeah, I was looking. The Castlevania DLC has 20 plus new characters,
that's
40
insane.
plus new weapons.
I love the character thing. Like that's so cool. That's got to be like a lot of the main characters from all the
It is
games.
all like all of them. I can like yeah, for the most part it's like all the main characters. It's crazy. Yeah, the Belmonts, the Belnades, and other heroes.
Like Sypha, Grant the Nasty, or I just care about Castlevania 3.
Yeah. Holy cow. So yeah, I played a bunch of that, which was a lot of fun actually. It's been a while since I played it. So
such a great game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put was it last year? Well, after I got my Steam Deck, I put a bunch of time into it. Got 15 hours into it, which is pales in comparison to yours, obviously. But
yeah, Steam Deck is a great way to play it. I'll say
fucking
that.
hell, that Steam Deck, man, game changer.
Yeah. So really, I think that's this week mostly what I've been playing.
All right.
Can't think of anything else. What about you? I'm sure you jumped around to a number of things.
I did, man. I'll just go in random order. I played some Anton Blast. I picked that up on Steam, and I ended up refunding it. Actually, I don't refund games very much, but I refunded it, not because it's not great. It is, but it's not the kind of vibe that I like. It is very like frenetic chaos platforming, like very. There's a button on your controller that is mapped just to screaming, so you can just scream, and it has that energy. It's just the
Okay.
whole game is screaming Cartoon Network in
Okay.
the aughts vibes, and it's very well done. But it was so chaotic that I had trouble kind of figuring out where to go and what was happening. So I checked it out for 20 minutes and was like, "Yep, I'm probably gonna refund that one." But I wanted to check it out. Some people that I like thought it was pretty good, so I give it a good shake. I've played some PSVR 2. I don't know if we talked about it last time. Yet you were sick. So did I get it while you were sick or the week before?
I don't think we talked about it the last time we chatted.
Okay, so PSVR 2 during the Black Friday stuff was for $350, and it comes bundled with Horizon Call of the Mountain. But then if you got it through Costco, it also came bundled with a controller charger for the I don't know, not wands, but the VR2 dual sense controllers or whatever. Which is a $50 value. So it really just like the game, $60, the accessory, $50. It really brought the price of the unit itself down to like $240 or whatever. So I was like, all right, it's time to bite. I enjoyed PSVR. I played it a bit, didn't play it a ton. So I didn't want to pick up PSVR 2 for a couple of reasons. One, Sony doesn't seem to be supporting it very much. But also I didn't want to pick it up for $600 fucking dollars and then to not play it very much. But I feel like if I'd never play it again, which is not true, I'm going to play it again, I got my money's worth because the experiences that I had just in Horizon Call of the Mountain alone, I'm probably 2.5 hours into it.
Okay.
Were stunning. It's the dual OLED screens. So it's really a pretty crisp picture. The PSVR had the screen door effect pretty bad.
Yeah.
This one does not. So you start off in Horizon Call of the Mountain. It's almost like a fucking Skyrim-esque, where you're like a prisoner on a boat. You're being taken in to meet with Aloy or the chief or whatever, to be used for a mission against the big bad whatever. But you're on this boat and you're going through this like really lush jungle, and you're just seeing fucking I think the first thing I saw was a tall neck, and you can see it in the distance walking towards you, and then it just fucking walks over you. And my jaw was on the floor the whole fucking time. I was like, I can't. I'm there. Like this is intense. And then Watchers come running by the boat, and then you get into a battle with the Watchers, and well, you don't, but the people you're with do, who are taking you through. And you eventually get to the chief and Aloy and figure out what you're going to do, and you start going through the world where you're climbing everywhere. There's tons of climbing and shooting collectibles throughout the world, drawing your hand back over your right shoulder to pull out your bow, and then doing the shooting motions. It all works really well. I got a little nauseous the first night, and I think not because of the game, but just because of getting used to VR again. The second night I just sat down and it was fine, and I haven't had any issues in VR since. But there was a battle. Oh no. There were a couple battles with a watcher, and it's just like insane to like feels like you're there. It's stupid to say about VR, but it's really well done. And then I was going through the jungle coming out after this battle where like the people who were kidnapping me or whatever most of them were dead, I thought. And I come through into a clearing from the jungle, and all of a sudden one of the people rush past me, turn around, and throw a rock in my face, and it freaks me the fuck out. Like I didn't expect it, and it felt like I was gonna get hit. I just like closed my eyes and cowered. I was like, "Oh my god, this is real! This is insane." So it's really cool. Then I loaded up Tetris Effect, and my wife played a little bit. She got nauseous. She doesn't really like it in VR, so she's not really into it, except for Beat Saber. But then I went to a game called Before Your Eyes. Have you heard of this one? It's a narrative game where you control the game not with a controller. You control by blinking. So you kind of look in a place, and then there's an eye icon, and if you look at it and blink, then an action will happen, which is probably 10% of your interactions in the game. The rest of it is just stuff is happening. When you blink, the scene moves. It goes to the next scene. So if you can keep your eyes open without blinking, you can see more of the scene. Otherwise, you move on. And the story is you start off as a kid. You're a baby, basically, and your parents are talking to you. And it's going through your life and what's happening to you as you grow up as a part of this family. And then, there's death that happens. And then you're in the afterworld kind of being judged, and then you realize that you have to go back and experience some of the scenes that you blinked through. So you're going to go live through them again, but see the things that you didn't see earlier, and it changes the story completely. I bawled my fucking eyes out. I have never cried so much in a video game in my entire life. This by an order of fucking magnitude. I was like, I need to take this thing off so I can like get a paper towel and like get the fucking water out of this the headset because I was crying so much. It was so good. And it was a cartoony kind of graphics. It wasn't anything, photorealistic or whatever. But the story, like being there and like what the story was about, it was so compelling. I absolutely loved it. And as an experience that you can play on a flat screen, I think if you have to have a camera and it can see you blinking, so it moves the story forward. But in VR, it's just a goddamn different story. It was so good, man. And then there's just an experience like a kayak game. There's a lot of stuff on PSVR 2 that's on the premium or whatever, the PS Plus level that I have. So I'm just trying a bunch of different stuff. The no camera, just one cable between your headset and the PS4, and then the two controllers in your hand that just map to. I guess the headset just tracks where it is through cameras, because you can hit a button to see through your headset and see what's around you. So there's cameras, I guess, or whatever, inside out tracking is what it's got going on. It works really fucking well. It is like light years better than PSVR, which I had to stop using because the fucking wands stopped charging, so I couldn't even use the wands anymore. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. It's not something I'm going to use, all the time, but I've got a lot more things to check out, and I want to finish Horizon. It's really, it's pretty neat, although it feels sort of like a climbing simulator right now. And then for the RPG backlog, I am playing through Final Fantasy 1 with Tom and Travis. We are at the very last section. We've got one more podcast to record, so we're getting back to chaos to defeat chaos. I really like Final Fantasy 1 a lot. I'm just like, I'm so happy. This year of Final Fantasy is closing out strong, and we're gonna jump to Final Fantasy 2 next month. So if you're interested, keep that in mind. And then I will wrap up here talking about Marvel Rivals just a little bit. There's not a lot to say about Marvel Rivals, and I only played last night for about an hour and a half. There's like 33 characters. And if you've played Marvel Snap, you're familiar with some of the characters. But if you haven't, God, there's some deep cuts. Like
Okay.
Namor is in there. A couple other ones that I can't remember.
Jeff the Shark.
Jeff, yes, thank you very much.
Oh
Yes,
my
Jeff
God.
Jeff the Land Shark is in there, and he's like one of the best characters in the game.
I've heard. That's why I was like, I haven't even looked at Rivals. I've just heard tangentially about people hating Jeff the Shark.
That's awesome. He's really good. It's fucking good, man. It's really well done. It's Overwatch. It's Marvel Overwatch. That's exactly what it is, and it's fucking great. I rolled through like 6 or 7 characters, and I was like, this character is not for me. And I was listening to a kind of funny podcast where I don't know if you know Snowbank Mike. He was talking about the characters and he just fucking ranked them all. And he talked about Star-Lord and about how god awful Star-Lord was and no one should play Star-Lord. So after like 6 or 7 characters, like I'm doing terribly with all the characters that he said were the best. I'm gonna go with the ones he said was the worst. And I went with Star-Lord and I started kicking ass. And I was like, what? This guy's great. I had like fucking 5 kill streaks. It was really cool. He's so basic. There's only like 3 things you can do with him. And I was like, this is perfect because the other ones
You're
have,
like, no, that's right. That's right.
It's
That's
exactly
what I
what I
need.
want. I want my basic bitch. So yeah, how I felt about Overwatch in 2016 was a lot more than I feel about this now. Overwatch 2016 was like my fucking game. I loved it. This is good. This is something that I'll play over time, not obsessively, but I would love to get a couple matches.
It's a competent.
It is, and it's
right,
the production value, man, is good.
Yeah, competent hero shooter, and with good production. Like, yeah, that's what they needed to do. It seems like it's working out well. Yeah, free to play. How do you get? So, are all the characters available for you?
They are all available. There is no rotation. There is no.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was surprised. Like to start out with 33 or so, like without any, you can play these 5 and then pay to play more.
Yeah.
No, you can play whatever you want, and they just are doing the battle pass and the skins, buying skins to get money.
All right.
You can play completely for free. There's nothing blocked away except for how your drip, how cool you look. So
okay.
Man, it's if you're interested in Overwatch, like this is a good one, man. The hype around it, the people are talking about it. 10,000 people have checked it out, obviously because it's free to play, but it's legit. So I'm looking forward to putting more time into that. Yep.
So I'm looking at the characters. Yeah, that's a lot of characters.
It's a lot of characters. Like Adam Warlock is in there.
Yep.
Jeff the Land
Black
Shark.
Panther, Black Widow, Cap, Cloak and Dagger. That's the same character.
Uh-huh.
That's cool.
And people really like that character. It seems like a complex one though. So
yeah. Doctor Strange. Yeah, all your normal ones. Hella, that's a choice.
Yep. Right. So how many of those from Marvel Snap?
Squirrel Girl. Good job.
Penny Parker's in there. Spider-Man, obviously. I want Ghost Spider-Man. Like, give me Ghost Spider.
It will happen.
Fuck yeah, it will. It's so gonna happen.
Did that happen the last time we talked, or was that later? I finally watched Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh, the second one?
Yeah.
Nice. I thought you'd watch that in theaters, but I guess not.
No, I didn't go to theater to see it. I don't go to theater that much anymore, but we finally sat down on a family movie night and watched it, and that was really good.
It is so fucking good. The worst part of it is the fucking end where it's like to be continued. You're like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Next year, it's like, no, that's not happening. And it
didn't. But more, and I'm like, yeah, wife and I got done with it, and we're like, I'm actually think I might like that more than the first one, which is amazing to say.
Yeah, I totally agree. The first one was amazing. The second one was better.
It's crazy.
I just got both of them. I picked them up during the Black Friday thing, and they're pretty cheap because I want to watch with my daughter. But she's not interested yet, so we'll see.
Yeah, and I think the second one is a bit more intense.
I was thinking the first one was, but yeah, maybe you're right.
No, there was definitely parts of the second one I was like, holy cow, this is Spider-Man 2099 is pretty intense character.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point.
And, real intense character.
It's totally true. But with my daughter, at least, like I've won with Wicked. Like we went to, we primed her for Wicked. She got excited. We went. She loved it. We've been singing the song since then. I will stick with that victory. Have you? Are you going to see?
No. I don't know if I'm going to go to. I don't completely. It is coming to my local movie theater. Actually, like next Friday. So I'll probably go see it sometime during the holiday break while it's here on the island.
If you do, go please, God, man, everyone needs to see it. It's so
I mean,
good.
So I don't have much knowledge of Wicked other than I know the book existed. I know that there was the musical. I know 2 of the songs in the musical, the most famous ones.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't have any knowledge. I've never listened to the entire musical. I've never saw the stage play at all. So I just know that people really like it. So
I think without knowledge of any of that stuff, it's still great. I read the book first, then I saw the musical like fucking 5 times. We're gonna see it again. We're taking our daughter in February. She was bummed because it's the first half, and she's like, "I want to see the second half. I want to see what happens." Like, well, guess what? You're going to Wicked in February, so you get to see both halves together, how they were meant to be. But the book is so rich, and the stage musical is awesome, but it doesn't have as much of the richness as the novel does. And then the movie puts a lot of it back in, not all of it, but
some of it.
Yeah,
that's what I've heard. I've only heard very positive things about the movie. So I'll probably go see it.
I've seen it twice so far, and I'm going to go again with some colleagues soon.
Nice.
And I don't go to movies for shit.
No.
Nope. So I'm going 3 times to see this one. Oh my God. Incredible.
Nice.
All right. Well, on Thursday, the Game Awards will be happening. I will be at an executive board meeting, so I won't be able to watch live, but
I thought I was going to get to watch live.
You did? Oh my God, that's right.
But then I realized I'm not going to, because of the jury duty thing now, I won't get home until probably about an hour after they've started. So I'll watch from there live. Yeah, but I'm like, of course. Of course. Oh, well. But we'll probably chat about that next week. See what came out.
We'll talk about the results and all of the reveals. Well, thanks, folks, for listening. If you liked our podcast, please rate us on your podcast service of choice. Tell a friend, share, and we will see you next week.
Later, everyone.